Hi everyone. Today in this session we'll discuss about counters. We have already discussed in short during a laboratory course about what is counters. You know that it is used to basically count a number of states. We have seen this in many day-to-day applications. So first we'll learn what is counters in detail, and then we'll learn the design of digital counters. Basically, a counter is a circuit which is used to count number of states. You have seen in all your digital applications, counter will be in somewhere or other it would have been presented. Okay. For example, if you take your go traveling in an elevator, there is one counter which is going to count the number of floors or levels you are crossing it. Okay. So there you require a counter. You are setting an alarm in your mobile phone for getting up in the morning. There you are indirectly using a counter. So counter is present everywhere. So basically it is used to count number of states. We mean that, say for example, if I want to count as starting from 0, I'll count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. I'll be calling each one as a state. So this is first state, second state, third state, like that, or zeroth state, first state, second state. So each one is called as states. Now in a digital circuit, if you see, in a digital circuit, you are going to apply clock pulse. So a digital counter means it is going to count number of clock pulses applied, correct? Number of clock pulses. Why? Because if you are using a clock pulse, that means definitely, obviously, there is going to be a circuit having a flip flop. Now, this flip flop will be acting, or I can say the flip flop will be changing the states only when you apply clock pulse. That means, say for example, if the value is 0, when I apply a clock pulse, it changes to 1. Now, when I apply a clock pulse, it changes to number 2. When I apply a clock pulse, it changes to number 3. That means digital circuit is actually counting the number of clock pulses applied. Okay. So this is the basic about a counter. We'll see what are the types available for your counter. So I told you the digital counter is nothing but it is counting number of clock pulses. So based on application of clock pulse, it is divided into two categories. One is called as synchronous counter. I told you in synchronous counter, you will be applying all the you will be applying clock pulses to all the flip-flops simultaneously. All the flip-flops will be operating in synchronism. That is why we are calling it as synchronous counter, or I can also call it as parallel counter. Second one is asynchronous counter, where you will be applying your clock pulse to first flip-flop, okay, and the output of the first flip-flop will be acting as clock pulse to second flip-flop and so on. So here the clock pulses to all the flip-flops are given simultaneously. That means all the flip-flops will be inactive at the same time or at the same instant. But in this case, in the asynchronous counter, the clock pulse is given to only the first flip-flop and the output of the first flip-flop is given as clock pulse to second flip-flop. That means the first flip-flop will be activated by applying clock pulse, and then the second flip-flop will be activated only based on the output of their previous flip-flop. So this asynchronous counter is also called as ripple counter, because the clock pulse, if you see, the clock pulse actually getting rippled through your flip-flop circuits. We'll understand more in detail about this. Just learn now that there are two types of counters based on the application of clock pulses. One is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. Learn another types of classifications of counters based on number of states counted. Based on number of states counted. First one is, we'll call it as n bit counter. Now n bit counter means, say for example, if I say it is 3-bit counter, that means it can count 2 power 3 states. That means this 3-bit counter can count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Only it can count totally 8 states. Okay, and why we are calling it as 3-bit counter? Because the maximum number, decimal number is 7 and its equivalent is 111, binary equivalent. So that's why we are calling it as 3-bit counter. Now here in n-bit counter, if it is 3-bit, the total number of states will be 8. If it is 4-bit, 16 states, like that and so on. That means it will be a fixed number, it will be a fixed count, fixed count counter. That means if it is 2-bit, it will count 4 states. If it is 3-bit, it counts 8 states. Clear? So this is one category. Now second condition is we'll call it as modulus counter. What is the use of modulus counter? Now in your previous case, say in this case, in this condition, either you can count 2 power 0, 2 power 1 or 2 power 2, 2 power 3 like that, etc. Only you can count like this. That means, say for example, I can count 2 power 0 means 1 states or 2 states or 4 states and 8 states, etc. Suppose I want a counter, I want to design a counter which has to count 5 states. Correct. So here I cannot use any counter among this because all are fixed number of states, either 1 or 2 or 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. Correct. So what to do for this? That means here I require a counter which has to count 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means totally it has to count 5 states. I cannot fixedly tell it as either 2-bit or 3-bit counter. Clear? So what I am going to do is, these types of counters are named as modulus counter, or in short I will call it as mod counter, or we'll be usually denoting it with its states. Now we'll denote it as mod m counter. Okay, this m stands for number of states. Okay, so in this example mod 5 counter means it is used to count 5 states. Is it clear? So if you are able to fix the number of counts as among 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, etc., you can go for n-bit counter. If your counter requires the number of states which doesn't fit in these category, then you have to go for these counter called modulus counter. So we will be learning the design of both these category. Now next we will understand how many flip-flops are required in these both cases. Now we'll find it out how many number of flip-flops are required for design of a counter. It's a simple topic now. A counter is nothing but a digital circuit which comes under a category called sequential circuit. And a sequential circuit means a sequential circuit require a memory. And we know that we are using flip-flop as a memory. That means a counter is definitely made up of flip-flops. So now we have to find it out how many flip-flops are required for designing a counter. Since we don't have a fixed counter, we'll be designing the counter based on our requirement. So we are going to find out a generalized formula to find the number of flip-flops. Now, in the first case, if you are using a n-bit counter, you require n flip-flops. That means 2-bit counter means you require 2 flip-flops. 4-bit means you require 4 flip-flops, and so on. So for n-bit counter, you require n flip-flops. Next, what is the requirement for your mod m counter? So here I cannot say simply that you require this much of counter because this m is variable, correct? So what we are going to do is we are going to have a new formula. This m will tell you number of states a counter has to count. So you have to choose the flip-flop, choose the number of flip-flop such that such that 2 power n grade n minus 1 greater than or equal to m greater than or equal to 2 power n is satisfied. This formula has to be satisfied, where that m stands for number of states and this n is nothing but number of flip-flops. Okay, now for example, say for example, for mod 5 counter, okay, which one will be choose which one will be apt means, suppose say if you try with n is equal to 2, or 2 will not work, no, when you take n is equal to 3, what will you get? It is 2 power 3 minus 1 greater than or equal to 5 greater than or equal to 2 power 3, that is 4 greater than or equal to 5 greater than or equal to 8. So this is getting satisfied. So mod 5 counter, you require n is equal to 3 flip-flops. Now let me consolidate the classification of counters. So we started with a digital counter. I can divide this counter based on the application of clock pulses as either synchronous counter or asynchronous counter. I can also call the synchronous counter as parallel counter. This asynchronous is also called as ripple counter. Now, based on number of states to be counted, I can divide each category as n-bit counter or modulus counter, or in short modem. Similarly, it is n-bit counter as well as modem counter. Now this tells you the overall classification of the counters. Now we have understood what is counter, what is synchronous, what is asynchronous, what is n-bit counter, and what is modulus m counter, how to find number of flip-flops to be used in each category, and how to and that's it. Now I'll just take you to a set of presentation slides to just give you an overall view of the circuit diagram of all these categories, and then in the next session we'll discuss about the design of each one. Now we'll see a few slides highlighting the concept of the counters. As I already told you, the counters are the circuits that cycle through a specified number of states. We discussed the two types of counters, one is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. Now we'll see one by one what it is. Now this is asynchronous counter, also called as ripple counter. It is mostly designed using your JK or D flip-flops. We'll discuss more when we are designing this circuit why it is only used with JK or D. Okay. Now this is your circuit diagram of your asynchronous counter. I'll just highlight you the concepts alone. Now just look at it, how it is drawn. It is 2-bit counter. Let me change the color now. So I'll keep red. This is 2-bit counter, that means it is an n-bit counter, correct? It is ripple means it is an asynchronous counter, that is you have to give the clock pulses asynchronously, that is you will be giving clock pulses only the first flip-flop, and the next flip-flop will be having the previous flip-flop's output as its clock pulse. Clear? And we'll call it as binary because it is going to count as 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 like that. It is called as up counter because it is going to count in the ascending state like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now since it's a 2-bit counter, it is going to count only 4 possible states starting from 0. So it is going to count 0, 1, 2 and 3. In binary form it is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and then 1, 1. Now since it is an n-bit counter, as I already told you, for n-bit counter you require n flip-flops. So it's a 2-bit counter, so you require 2 flip-flops. I have given you this is first flip-flop and this is your second flip-flop. Clear? And I have taken example of JK here. And if you see the first clock pulse is directly connected to your first flip-flop alone. The output of the first clock pulse is connected as the input, clock pulse of your second flip-flop. This tells you this is a ripple counter or an asynchronous counter. That's all. And then the inputs J and K are connected together to a high value. What happens when I connect J and K to a high value? That means it is going to act as a toggle counter, correct? Now, Why do you require like this? Suppose for example, assume that in this case it has to count 0 0, then 0 1, it has to count 1 0, and then it has to count it as 1 1. After that again it has to count from the beginning 0 0 0 1 1 0, etc. Correct? Now when you look at this concept, when you look at these 2 points, when you look at these two, you can see that the second bit is getting complemented. That is 0 is getting changed to 1. So can I call it as toggling? So here it is toggling. From second to third, now 2 bits are getting toggled. And from third to fourth, 1 bit is getting toggled. Then again 2 bits are getting toggled. 1 bit is getting toggled, and so on. So what is happening is the each bit is getting toggled in the next sequence. So which flip flop will be more useful? Either JK flip flop or T flip flop. Either you can use a T flip flop or you can use a JK flip flop with both J and K connected to a high value. That's all. So this is your circuit diagram of your 2-bit binary ripple counter. Since why we are calling it as up counter means it is going to count in the increasing order. See 0, 1, 2, 3, 0 like that. Okay. This waveform you can easily understand by yourself. I have already taught this in the triggering concept. So this I am not going to explain here. It is an assignment for you. You can refer it, learn it, and then if you have doubts, you can call me again. Now I have shown you the two circuit diagrams for your up and down counter. We'll see what's the difference. Okay. Now first we learn each word one by one. Okay. Here the first thing shown here is, now the first one tells you asynchronous counter. That means the clock pulses are given only to the first flip flop. Correct? See, the clock is given only to the first flip flop. Okay, and look at these two circuits. Here this Q value is connected as clock pulse to the next. Here it is connected as clock pulse to the next. But in this case Q bar is connected as clock pulse. This gives you the difference between these two circuits, correct? So you have two different output forms. Either you can connect this as clock pulse or this as clock pulse. If you connect this as clock pulse, what happens? It will be counting in one order. Say increasing order, we call it as up counter. If you are connecting this Q bar as the clock pulse, it will be counting the decreasing order, that is like 43210, 43210. That is why we are calling it as down counter. This is the difference between your up counter and your down counter. Now this is another example of your 3-bit ripple binary down counter. 3-bit means it's an n-bit counter. So we require 3 bits. So we require 3 flip flops. This is your first flip flop, second flip flop, and third flip flop. Ripple counters clock pulse is given to first flip flop. See, clock pulse is given to first flip flop. I have taken example of a down counter. So here Q bar is connected as clock pulse. Clear? And you will be connecting all your JK of all the flip flops to high value. Here it is connected to 1. And this waveform you can learn it by yourself, refer it, and you can learn it by yourself. Just look at here. What I am going to do is here, this diagram tells you this counter starts with 0 0 and it is going to count from 1 1 1. Correct? So either you can, or I can, if I assume that I am starting from this case 1 1 1. So it will be counting in a decrement order. So 1 1 1, then it goes to 1 0 0, 1 0 1, 1 0 0, 0 1 1, 0 1 0, 0 0 1, 0 0 0, and finally it again starts to 1 1 1. So when we talk in terms of decimal equivalence, it is 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 0, and again it starts counting from 7. So this is a diagram which tells you how each state is moving to the next state. So this diagram is called as state diagram. This is the diagram of a 4-bit ripple binary up counter. This is an extension of the previous counter that you can learn by yourself. And I was telling you what is meant by propagation delay. That is the time taken for your inputs to travel through your gate circuits, that is called as propagation delay. That is what explained in this circuit. As you can see here, there is a, so though here it is here the clock pulse is here. Though you can see here it is Q bar, it is Q1, it is Q2. So this is the time taken, time delay happening here. That is why we are calling this as propagation delay. This will talk in more detail in the coming lectures. Thus, I am giving you an overview alone. We will talk in more detail about what is propagation delay. This is just an overview. Next is nothing but synchronous counters. So what is this? This is nothing but state diagram. So this is 2-bit counter, that means it is going to count 4 states 00011011 in this order. See, first it will be 000110 and then 11. This is a circuit diagram for your synchronous binary counter. For 2-bit it is circuit diagram is like this. For 3-bit the circuit diagram will be like this, and 4-bit it will be like this. So how to proceed with this circuit diagram, that is what we require to learn or to know about a design procedure. So here I have just given you a circuit diagram to understand or to get an overview of what is digital counter, what is synchronous counter, what is asynchronous counter, how it will be appearing in the final state. Now in the next session we'll learn more about the design procedure. In this session, I have given you an overall view about the counters and the types of counters. And we have also discussed about few presentation slides. I will be sharing those presentation to you also. I just have a look at it. Now in the coming sessions, we'll learn how to design those counters. That means we'll be learning how to arrive at the final circuit diagram of those counters. So we'll be discussing about design of both synchronous n-bit and mod counter and asynchronous n-bit and mod counter in the coming sessions. Hope you all clear with the counter concept. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.